Hello, my friends. Welcome to Module 1, Section 4, Structuring Your Community. Now, when you structure your community, you have to think, who is it that's going to help me do my thing in a place that I am not able? Right? Who will be able to step up when I can't step up myself? Where are the gaps? Who can fill those gaps? And why can they fill those gaps in a way that is going to be congruent with the messaging that you have to say? In my community, in the entrepreneurial field, I like to work with the best. So that means Dean Graziosi, Tony Robbins, Pete Vargas, Pedro Adao, Russell Brunson. Those are the guys, Damon John, those are the guys that demonstrate this model the best. Why? Because they are collaborators. They are willing to learn and to grow and to modify their messaging to be able to serve the people that matter to them. And so if you matter to them, they matter to you. If you matter, if you find that they matter, the whole thing is reciprocated. It's a model of reciprocity. Yay for words, right? I told you, I've got some issues with that. I'm still working through. So thank you for bearing with me. Yay, imperfect action. So when you're structuring your community, what are the gaps? In entrepreneurship, when you're trying to learn something, you need to learn how to write a book. You need to learn how to build a funnel. You need to learn how to do public speaking. You need to learn how to build a course. You need to learn how to run a challenge. Why do you need to learn how to run a challenge from Pedro? He's the goddamn best at it. He understands the kingdom. He understands to serve your community, you need to engage your community. His engagement is off the chain, right? Why do you need to learn how to build a course? So that when you've got something in their ear that they can go back to and listen to over and over and over again. Who's going to be the steward of that? Dean and Tony. You got a personal development issue? Tony Robbins. He can set you right. You need to learn how to do public speaking? Talk to Pete Vargas and Pat Quinn. Geniuses. You want to learn how to do business? Damon John. Genius. Built out FUBU for helping the community, doing the whatever you have to do. Power of broke, right? And the use of other people's money. Now, this is where it really gets fun. Because when you're building out your businesses, you can use and leverage other people's money if you have a thing to say that's bigger than yourself. If they can figure out how to use it with you, for you, and around you, so that you can step up into your own while you do it, you have that obligation to do so. It might take you some time. My path of mentorship usually takes about 2 years, right? 1 year of learning, 1 year of application. 1 year of learning, 1 year of application. Okay? First year, I'm learning a bunch of shit. I'm testing it out. I'm trying it out. Second year, trying to make it better. Improving the model, improving the structure so that way there's no losses. So that way there's action taken, provable action. There's $500 million that they've been able to create using this framework of enrollment, using mentorship in the modern era, so that they can teach their people the same way I taught myself. So that you have a journey and you're leading people through it. You're not just having a course that's talking about nothing that nobody's interested in. You have a challenge that gives them questions and answers, so that way you can use a challenge framework to be able to siphon out the bullshit struggles that people are going through. So that way those broken record conversations you can have, you can film responses to, so you can have a different conversation next time. I never want to have this conversation to anybody who's not gone through my course. Yes, I will talk about creating your community, building your network, doing all of the things, but to go this way with it, you have to be able to do it in a way that's going to be congruent to your messaging. So you have to be able to serve a higher purpose. You have to be able to serve what is the God, what is the thing that you could throw yourself upon and into, so that way you are that purpose. For me, I love mentorship. I love that journey of helping people where they're at to get to where they could be. Again, uplifting the hand that would be uplifted, but rejecting the burden of those who would not. So if you don't do it, I'm not helping. I can't. I don't have the time, because there's other people that want to do it more than you. Why are they doing it? Why do I know that? Because they'll pay me more. They'll be engaged better. They'll actually do what I have talked about. They'll create the enrollment in their business. They'll create the systems in their business. They'll create those standard operating procedures that allow them to streamline things. They'll generate the stories that create engagement and reasons why people want to listen to them over and over and over again. Right? So what is it that's in your community? Who is it that you're going to work with? Right? So I'm working with Lise Robinson right now, right? She's in grief recovery. She's got her courses on grief. She's building out her ebooks. She's got to learn how to speak on different stages. So she's been with me through Pete's platform tour, right? So she bought the gold package. She's now fully invested in Pete's mentorship path. So that way, what she can do then is not only go to funeral home directors, but she can go to the funeral conventions where they're at, speak on the stages about grief management and her courses. So that way she can create a community that's sustainable for herself, because she has the fire to understand that her business is bigger than herself and that she has a moral obligation to serve a community that is not being served. And that was the tirade that I started last year in self-education. Is because self-education is great. Anybody who's calling themselves a coach or a mentor or a guide, good for you. But how do you know? I know because Pete's doing it. I know because Dean's doing it. Tony's doing it. I know because mastermind.com now exists based on a post I put in a ClickFunnels forum. I know this stuff. I have copies of that stuff. You know, other people's money. They had the means to do it. They had the motivation to do it. They had the background to do it. What do I have? I have a networking idea. I have a non-CD way to give value in advance. And that means, what is it that I'm doing? I am teaching you and I'm giving you my best stuff. I have given you methods, methodologies, concepts, frameworks of tier 1 is this, tier 2 is this, tier 3 is this. By the time you've got this, you should already know that I have a tier model. And there's a 15-step process that I use in order to create anything. And that's what I'm doing here. And that's why there's so many different steps in this course. But it's not about the model. It's not about the framework. It's not about what these things represent. It's about the schema behind it and why. Why is it important that there is an entry-level process, a mid-level process, and a high-level process? Because people are going to come at your information in a different kind of way where they need to be where they're at so that they can apply it and use it in their season. Let me say that again. They need to be able to apply it in their season. So that means there are 3 tiers of operation that I use in my community models. And I'm going to get more into that in one of the next sections. But let's break it down. First section, they need to learn something. Second section, they need to sell something. Third section, they need to be able to teach something. So right now, you're in the learning phase of what the sections look like, what the community looks like. You've got 4 modules right now, or 4 sections in this module that are teaching you about what you're going to sell. Right? This isn't mindset stuff. This is strategy stuff. This is the mechanical operation of my process in action. So that way you can take it and you can make it. And then you can sell it and talk about it. Because your journey that got you here will get you so far. But only when you create a community around your messaging. Only when you bring in people that are not yourself to do the thing that you cannot do because you're not there to do it in that community. You have your niche, you have your lane, you are doing it. You are not in competition with anybody else but yourself to be better than the day before. There's a principle called Kaizen, better than the day before. Small steps, small improvements, that's all it takes. We progress together. You do this course, you listen to this recording, you do this over and over and over again. Go for it. Because in your business, you have to do the same thing. I said the same story to the same customer every time they came into the shop, because that's what I just wrote. That was my broken record. I had one story for every product, and I did just how we moved around about that different product while I was making vibrators spit on the counter, or whatever was newest and latest and greatest, you know, like the ones at the time that would beat to the bass of the music, or like Fleshlight came out with this really cool one where you could have the vibrator over here. Dude has a masturbator over here. So whatever you did with the masturbator, you'd feel with the vibrator, or like vice versa. So it was really literally the only toy you could fuck yourself with. Like, go fuck yourself. Literally, it's $600. Like, not telling you to buy it. It's just that's one of my favorite toys because it was a demonstration of a principle that would otherwise be crazy offensive, but it can be funny. It can be really funny. So what can you do that will be a joy to other people, to get them to think outside the box so that you can structure your community in a way that not only puts you as the CEO of your business, the leader of your community, the influencer in your space, but it will also give the ability to other people so that they can become influencers in their space, that they can become the best of what they have to do in their season of doing it, so that nobody better to do personal development than Tony. Nobody better to talk about course development than Dean. Nobody better to talk about stages than Pete. Nobody better to talk about challenges than Pedro. I am sure as shit going after the network marketing space because the mentorship in the modern day needs leaders. It needs a voice. And I am certain I could do my best in that because it is the journey that matters, not the destination. It is the journey. And if we care about people on their journey, in their place, as that client, as our customer, we are totally in a better way. We are totally going to help in ways that are unfathomable. Absolutely beyond the bricks and mortar. And that's the thing. Again, it's not about what widget you sell. It's about why you're selling it. Why do they need it? Why do they need to have that $300 thing? Why do they need to have that $400 course? These are, for me, why you're here is because I want you to be an apprentice of mine. I want you to learn these methods of changing fate and of changing the fates of others. Because together, we're tapping into the divine source of creation. We are living a purpose. We are becoming like the divine when we lift others up. It is a flow through of energy. You take the intangible energy that you have in your mind, you direct it through physical expression and words, and those words become action. That action uplifts and changes. Don't use it for destruction. Use it for good. Use it to help your neighbors out. If you know a restaurant and you love their cannoli, tell them. Like, my shop was located next to a place that served gelato. Fantastic stuff. Absolutely fantastic. I love it. I would go get their manicotti every couple of days. Like, this shit was great. You know, next door was a pizza joint. It was excellent. Down the street was a place called Moe's, right? Or Fiesta Cantina. Margaritas as big as your fucking head. Great stuff. Customers needed to know that because they didn't know the neighborhood. So I needed to tell them what was around. So I needed to be able to direct them to who is going to serve them where I cannot. Network marketing is all about doing that. And if you're trying to do it in a way that's, hey, I've got a product to sell you, I don't want that. But hey, what are you looking for? What is it that you're trying to do in your business? Why is it you're trying to do it in your business in that way? So that way you are compelled to act. Yeah, you can pay money to build your influence, build your community group, scale because you need to, buy the ads, pay for the funnels, do all the things, right? But you need to have a why that's bigger. You need to be able to enroll people to be able to work with you. So you have to cultivate within you an understanding of your environment and an understanding of your community. So that way you serve the community by your purpose, by your action, by your love. Be a shopkeeper when you go online. Leverage what you've done. If you've done it good, if you've done it bad, it doesn't matter. You've done something. That's better than doing nothing. And if you fucked up, fix it. Do your best to fix it. Just do your best. Sometimes you will burn bridges. Sometimes you will be a broken mess. Fix your break. And maybe you can help others with it. Right? Structure your community and your business around things that are going to help others connect with you, connect with your purpose. Even like mentorship gets ugly. I got really, really like ugly tears, like, oh my God, I was breaking. Like I was broken. 2 years ago, fucking destroyed. Abuse, bad relationship with my business partner, which was my mother. Like I couldn't deal with it. Done. I had to walk away. But at the same time, I was also leveraging my ability to work with spiritual people, people that connected to lineage traditions, apostolic transmission, right? The unbroken lineages. That's what's important. And this is an unbroken lineage of mentorship. Tony learned from Jim Rohn. I learned from Tony. I taught Tony. Tony's teaching me Jim Rohn stuff and all of his other stuff in the model and the framework that allows him to deliver it in a way that I can learn it, which is the way that of mentorship, and it is the way of creating courses in this type of capacity where you work people through different tiers, where you have different options so that you can meet people in 3 ways at once. Tier 1, structure at 1. What are you teaching? Structure 2, what are you selling? Structure 3, what are you learning? What are you selling? What are you teaching? Right? There's patterns that you can follow between those 3. There's 9 different things that you can do within that 3-tier structure. 9 different ways that you can structure it. So I'm going to sell this thing over here, but I'm going to teach it to you while you're selling your own thing, or while I'm selling somebody else's thing for you, etc., etc. So that you build up a relationship of service. Again, it's all about service. It's about being of use to others until you can be of use to enough people that they want to work with you in a deeper way, because you're bringing them into your world. You're bringing them into your ideations of what your community looks like. I don't want a bunch of greedy, arrogant business owners trying to abuse the teachings that I have to offer. I want heart-centered, I want mission-driven, I want impact leaders, and I want power. Not my power. I want them to have power. I want them to have power and authority in their market so that their voices are the best ones heard. Because people that are divisive, people that are causing fear, people that are causing ignorance, people that are causing institutionalization, that is crap. And I say that with as much love to people where they're at. Because if you went to college, great. I didn't. I couldn't. Why? It hasn't worked out so far. I did go to bartending school, trained as a bartender, learned how to talk to people, learned how to mix drinks, learned how to do molecular mixology from one of the really good people. Like, yay for the chemical composition of alcoholic drinks. So I get really nerdy into structures. So I'll think about tier ratings, or I'll think about level systems, or I'll think about all the things, right? Nobody cares about that. They care about is being able to deliver a community message and a community development process that actually creates compounding effect so that they don't have to worry about a recession. They can send an email out to a friend because their friend knows that what they have to offer is a valid thing that their community can benefit from. And if their community can benefit from it, somebody in that community will then refer back to, and then they will be able to go back and forth and back and forth. And it creates a collaborative environment. So advertising moves beyond just the funnel, just the ads, just the event, just the course. It becomes a relationship that you have with the person on the other side of the screen. So the person on the other side of the screen watching this particular video, I hope to work with you on a deep one-on-one level so that way your business gets to be the best it possibly could be. But in order to do that, what I'm going to need you to do is I'm going to need you to pay me for a consulting fee, because I don't do it for free, because people that I do it for free for don't pay attention. They don't do it, or they don't have the fire to do it, because they don't have an investment in themselves or in the information. But it doesn't matter about me saying it. Dean and Tony have demonstrated it. Pete Vargas has demonstrated it. Pedro's demonstrated it. All of the people in my community that helped me learn how to do this to serve you have already done it. So my methods are no longer on track. I don't need to put my stuff out for free. I do it at a lower cost so that way people can come into my network, come into my community. So that way they have access to this information. And if they want to go deeper, then they have the means to go deeper. And so what you need to do in your community is structure it the same kind of way. So you have a low ticket, a mid ticket, and a high ticket. The same way Pete builds his pyramid, right? You have your big low ticket offer that everybody can go to, your lead magnets or whatever, right? That's what they're called. And then you have your mid ticket, which is generally group coaching. So that'll be your mastermind groups and things like that. And then the high ticket is going to be mastermind groups, still one to group or one to one. Like my very high ticket would be a one-to-one personal development. I'm teaching you spiritual concepts that will teach you the principles of manifestation. Straight up. That will be the highest ticket thing I ever do for somebody, because it's not about the energy flow itself. It's about, I want to make sure that you've been able to raise the money through your own community, through your own efforts, through your own development. It means you're committed to serving other people at such a high level that that money that you donate and put into yourself can be put back into the community. So when I'm not able to work for the community, I can spend my time and focus on you so that you don't fail, you don't fuck it up. So that way you have everything you need. I will make the tools, I will make the spells, I will write the rituals, whatever it is, right? When it comes to business, I'll do the same thing. I'll spend time and I'll do the funnels with you. I'll help you walk through the different phases of the funnel. So that way you have the idea that it's like a gate. The first gate should be an emotional response. Second gate should be a mental response. Third gate should be a combination of a physical response. Right? Fourth one, what's the human quality to it? Why does it matter? Right? What are those are the four divine gates: the heaven, the earth, the spirit, the ghost. Right? So you use these things, these concepts of ancient philosophy, things that kings and leaders and masters of business used to do, or had people guiding and consulting them on. That's why I do it, is because I needed to learn what leaders of the old days did, so that way we can do this better than they did it. So our business can be stronger, our business can be a legacy, our community can be an environment of progress. So that the businesses that we engage in, the people that we invest in, are not polluting the earth. They're not going to corrupt their environment. They're going to serve their people. It's not about the money, it's about the service. I spent 2 years in service of learning and the application of this. I had the idea, I sent the email out. They built the thing. I went through the thing. I'm still going through the thing. And I will never stop going through that thing with them, because I respect them as men, as brothers of the craft. Like, we are doing our thing in our way. And that's what you need to be able to do with your thing in your way. And that's why you're here. And that's why you have to structure your community. But you have to think about it using 3 principles: 1, 2, and 3, right? Tier 1, what can you learn? What can you learn that's going to create the environment that you seek? 2, what can you sell to enhance that environment that you seek? 3, what can you teach in that environment that you seek? All right? That's the foundation of it. And as I get more into depth about how to go really nuts on how those concepts can overlay, that's where my business networking comes out. And that's where I start to nerd out. So I'll get all info down really quick. So I'm trying to hold a little bit of reservation on how I lead into that, so you don't get overwhelmed on how complex it gets. But because it gets really complex, that's where the depth is. That's where people go fucking wrong with it, because they only see, I'm going to sell this product, I'm going to talk to you about this product, but I don't have a why to teach you about it. Or I'm not going to guide that person through and actually take them by the hand to help them in their journey so that they're not left behind. United we stand. Right? Urban Fellowship. Again, united we stand. Together we can make the impact that we seek. Together we are stronger than we are alone. And it's in this that we have the moral obligation to serve our people with the very best information that we have in our communities. So that means if you were watching this video, you've taken a leap into something that is greater than yourself, because now you are a steward of this information. Now you have the moral obligation to figure out a way to structure your community so that way you can get on a stage, the convention in your industry, and talk about the way that you're going to do your business in a way that no one else but you can do it or has done it in the past. So that way there is no shame, there is no fear, there is no misunderstanding that you represent something so vast, so important when it comes to self-education in the knowledge business, when it comes to teaching people about what you have to offer, that you are willing to put your fullness of being into it. I came from the adult industry. I've got communities for kink people. I've got communities for business people. I've got communities for caregivers. I've got communities for healers, spiritualists. I've got all the communities, right? But it doesn't matter if there's no action behind it from those people within them. The communities exist. They're there. Some people take, like my buddy Keith, he gets about $5-6 grand a month from his client, but he does spiritual work only. Sometimes he'll do classes. He charges about $200 a class. That's about an hour and a half, questions and answers afterwards. Part of an academy now, right? He's a spiritual guy. Barnabas is a speaking guy. It's business. He's also faith-based. Different kind of faith, but still faith-based. Ian and Tony, they do courses. They do personal development. Walk on fire, change your perspective, right? It's a graduation model for being able to do something deeper, getting through the training period and then going to a live event, being on stage with people that have gone through it with you, linking arms together through the journey, through the process. That's important. So as I build out mine, as I build out the network marketing, as we become spider men and women, right? As we weave our webs, right? We'll be the norms of the new age, right? Fate weavers, tapestry weavers. We control the tapestry of fate. We are the weavers of the web if you do it right. If you steward network marketing properly, you can give out your best materials. You can send out emails to people that will actually read them if you write the right kind of copy behind it. You can lead people on an entrepreneurial journey through your craft in your way, in a structure that is unlike anything else in the marketplace because it's yours, but because you've taken the time to demonstrate at each step what each piece is, how each piece shows up. So that way, nobody's left out, so that you can talk into those businesses that will help your community grow. And you can walk away from those communities that will take away from it. There's people that will shit on your message, that will corrupt it, that will make it feel like you have to have a shower after you go through a funnel because there's so many upsells, so many emails, it's too complex. There's so many things, right? What is it that's going to make you structure your community in the right kind of way with collaborators that will help fill the gaps for what you need? Are you in the grief space? Who do you need to talk to? You need to talk to nurses. You need to talk to funeral directors. You need to talk to elder care homes. You need to talk to people that have been in those elder care homes that can teach people speech pathology. Like, there's a whole list of stuff in caregiving I can't speak on because I'm not there yet. In business, you need to talk to Tony for personal development. You need to talk to Pete for public speaking. You need to talk to Pat Quinn so he gets a signature shot down. You need to talk to Pedro so you can run a challenge so people can learn to know, like, and trust you before you even get involved with them. You need to learn how to write a book. You need to learn how to do a podcast. You need to learn how to Instagram. You need to do YouTube, TikTok, whatever, all the shit, right? But you need to learn it from people that are already doing it because they've learned how to do it in their season. And then you need to be able to step into the network, right? You need to be able to come into the network marketing game with full congruency, so that way nothing is left behind. And as weird as you are on the personal level, because believe me, people are weird. Otherwise, places like Tumblr or like XTube or like FetLife wouldn't be as fun as they were, and I wouldn't have had the customers in my belt store that I had. There were the doctors, the lawyers, the pilots, the military guys, the military housewives. Like, y'all, kinky motherfuckers, own it. Don't be afraid of who you are behind closed doors, because if you can embrace that and you can heal that, that is something powerful. That is something so powerful. Like, yes, I get it. Humiliation is kind of hot in the right kind of sense. But if you have nothing to humiliate you because you took a stand, because no matter how weird you are, no matter what kinks you are, no matter how fucked up your body is because of age, because you've got weird diseases, because you're atypical, because you are neurotypical, like ADHD, whatever, right? Doesn't matter. You are unique. You're awesome. I'm familiar with how weird people are. And I love people for their weirdness. And I want to be able to make a community where people can embrace themselves and to find others on their journey so that they don't have to do it alone. And that's my community model. Nobody's alone. We might not be able to all get along because we all might have different ways that we express ourselves. So those people over there can express themselves over there. Them over there can express them over there. But there's no hate. There's no division. There's no divisive rhetoric. They're doing their thing. I'm doing my thing. They're doing their thing. We're all doing our thing. But we work together to make everybody better. And that's what's important. And that's what you need to work on when you create your community environment. You need to figure out who's going to support you, who's going to be an asset to you. You need to be able to test your stuff in the marketplace before you even get there to make sure that what you're doing is correct. The words that you're saying are correct. Go through it. What are your broken record conversations? By the time this video is done, I will have had this conversation several times over. I will have already emailed out my challenges, right? I have already done that. I already know this stuff works. I already know my enrollment theory is on point. I know my methods of mentorship are on point. They are not on trial. What is on trial is what you're doing now. What is it that you are in your trying period of? What are you trying out? What are you testing out? What are your business plans for your community going to look like? So that way what you're doing is going to succeed in a way that no one else around you can succeed without you. If you didn't show up in the marketplace with your fullness and weirdness, who else is going to do it with the message you have inside you? What else are you going to be able to do to build your brand outside of your shop so that you go to the events, you know the people, you can interact with the people, even in your own way that you can deal with those people, right? Like to go to a speaking event, to have a reason to get there or the means to get there so that it's not a burden, then you get a paid speaking gig. But to get a paid speaking gig, you have to have non-paid speaking gigs. You have to have somebody trust you enough to steward the message that you have inside you. So that way, when they put you on stage, you don't take away from their environment, that you contribute back to it. So nobody loses. It's the win-win-win, right? Triple win. So these are the things you have to think about. How do you structure something in a way that the people that interact with you win, the people that interact with them win, and then how do you win? I win by you having gotten this course. You win by you having gotten this course and taking action on it. Your people win by the action you take from this course when applied in the right way to your people, because it creates a legacy. It creates an impact outside of yourself to shift the world and its perspective of you and your business. So not only are you doing business for you, but you're taking your business and you're recommending other businesses. You are now the affiliate. Now you are the network hub. Now you are the place of information in your community. Now you can make recommendations to the restaurant that you like to eat at because they serve a really great food, or they serve a really mean burger, or they serve a margarita as big as your head. Like, that shit is cool. And when you're out drinking and you're out buying naughty toys, you know, your adult store is a great resource because they know what's going on in the community. They know what's going on in, you know, who to recommend for what type of event. Like, that's the kind of thing that I used to do. And with COVID and with all of the things that we're doing, we have to be better than where we were at. We have to come at this in a different kind of way so that the structure that we create is more impactful. Is that there's an enrollment and then there's a purpose behind it so that we serve at a deeper level, so that we create at a deeper level, so that no one is left out of the community that we're creating, because again, it's all about urban development. It's about infrastructure creation. We are the foundations and the pillars of our society. Businesses are the pillars of society. Without us, people don't work. There's no money in the economy. There's no new products. There's no new innovations. There's no new collaborations. So if you've got a business owner that's just there to take money from you because they thought I could get rich quick scheme, or they're scamming their customers, they're creating fraud, or they're doing all the things, and they don't have the passion to go through and to study and to really become stewards of the stewarded information that others are doing. If you do, then I do, and then I'll do again, and then you do, and then we do, and then it's all a great collaboration, right? These are the things that we have to do, and these are the things that we're responsible for. So as we go through and we do it, you need to think about how you're structuring your community, because this isn't mindset stuff. This is strategy. These are tactics. Who do I need to talk to in order to be able to get my thing done so that they can do their thing better at the same time, so that while they're doing their event, I'm doing my event, and we have an overlap so that it works out great. So that anybody in that community can then be referred back to this community, because then I can go speak on that person's event, they can speak on my event, and then we can cross promote. And then people in that community know who they are, people in this community know who they are, and everything works in congruency. So nothing is left out. This is how we change the game. This is how we change the rules of that game. And by doing that, we control the network. By controlling the network, and because we can control the way the network is built, we can control who interacts with the network. And there we get our power. We become the influencers because we can say, this is the gate. This is what you need to cross that gate. And there we become the guardians of the gates of knowledge. And by our, go forth by judges and protect, and by your, judges, that's the sort of role that I was trained in. The official order of the thing I was taught, which is taught to me by my friend, who was taught by his uncle, who was taught by his uncle before him, and so on down the line. Go forth and judge, and by your judgment protect. That's the condition, that's the code. So when I say things like uplift the hand that would be uplifted, but reject the burden that was not, that is also part of the creed that I follow. Right? But again, it's not merciful what I do. It's severe what I do, because there is a deep, deep need for it in the community. And speaking with power and being able to have the right words to speak with power and to seek out the people that are going to steward that power properly, so when they are in the midst of using it, they don't falter. So that way, when they have a question they can't answer, it's not, oh, I don't know. It's, hang on, let me find somebody who does. And that's the beauty of the network. Understanding who's doing what when you are not. Who's the best at what they do, who's become the best at what they do. The best at what they do can lead others through. It'll take you hand in hand and walk you through the fire, right? That's what we have to do as business owners. That's how we have to structure our communities, so that way nobody is left out of these things. So final thoughts, what are you doing to structure your community? What referrals can you get? What mentors can you pull in, and who can you refer to your mentors, and why would you do that? These are the people that you need to work with. These are the reasons why you need to work with them. These are the things that are important in doing that. And then how do they relate back to the congruency that you're serving? So thank you for finishing up module 1. Congratulations. You have made it this far on your journey, and I look forward to seeing you in module 2. And be safe, and until I see you again, have a good night, my friends.